We all go through those times where we fail at something and decide to get our life together. This time for real.
But what if we don't know where to start? Or maybe we don't have any guidance? There's no guidance at all. How do we find our way through life?
Yeah. How do we better ourselves when it feels like nobody's there to help? This is the Dumb Podcast, so you're not going to find the answer here.
No, but we're definitely going to talk about it. So get ready, because
Here we go! What up, y'all? I'm Don Gordo Dario
And I'm Alex Snooza.
Souza.
Welcome back to the Dumb Podcast.
Today, we wanted to share some information on how to start doing comedy, stand-up comedy, if that's what you want to do.
For those who are just interested, maybe they don't know the steps to take.
We're also going to be discussing our weekly topic.
And I know this one from experience, Don. Failure.
Yep. One of my many middle
Well,
names.
we must be related.
Mhm.
What else are we doing today?
We're going to be ending the podcast, the episode, with a little jiggity joke session.
Stay tuned for that.
Yep. So kick back, chillax, and enjoy. This is the ha-ha hack. We are by no means professional comedians yet.
We?
Yeah. Wow.
I get, that means we're still in the trenches and the process that we go through is still very fresh.
Yeah, so we decided to share our experiences with hopes that, it'll help somebody out in the future.
Of course. And today we're going to be talking about audiences.
Yeah, know your audience. First is going to be where are you going to be doing your set at? Is it going to be at a comedy theater or is it going to be a bar? The difference is going to be your audience. Theater, they are controlled, they're quiet, they're there to see you, versus a bar where they're probably already drunk.
Yeah.
There's a lot of random noises going on that they're talking back to you. The first time I went to a bar to do a set was at Dos Gringos with Joe Kimmel, the one she ran in Chandler. And a 1-year-old walked by. I was not ready for that, dude.
That 1-year-old was walking?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. In a diaper, huge diaper. It was full. But yeah, it just throws you off, So that's the part you have to understand about your audience is just know where you're going to be doing your set.
What part about that? I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah,
but what part about that threw you off? Was it the full diaper?
The fact that it was my content and who I am as a person.
Oh.
It caught me off guard.
Yeah, I like that. A 1-year-old walking through a bar and you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm talking about things that I talk about.
Yeah.
So it just threw me off. I was ready to do it, but in front of grown individuals.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready to say those types of things in front of a child.
Sure.
I know they probably couldn't understand me, and I'm not their dad, but it just throws you off. I was brand new to it, so, know where you're going, know what to expect.
Yeah.
The second thing is going to be the type. Is it going to be an open mic or an actual show that you've been invited to? Open mic is going to be a bunch of comedians, so you may not get as much applause as you expect when you hold for a joke, for the punchline. But if you do get one, that tells you that's a pretty good joke.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's nothing but comedians out in an open mic usually trying to do their craft as well. Versus a show, where people are there to see comedy, and they're there for a reason. It may be you, it may be the other people in the show, and that leads us to our next one, which is who are those people in those audiences?
Yeah.
You know, you need to analyze the demographic. You know, are they nerdy? Are they jocks? Are they drinkers? Are they, you know, smoke pot, potheads? Because when you're upstage and they're cheering for you, and you definitely want to know who they are, because those people become your fans.
Yeah.
So that's just a little bit of information there. Anything to add there, sir?
I think I'm very analytical when I watch stand up. It takes a lot to get me to laugh
Yeah.
when I'm watching stand up, just because I'm studying the entire time. I know when a joke is good, regardless of whether I laugh at it or not. Um, the 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 one time I did stand up, we did a roast,
Yeah.
and I remember I'm up there and I'm telling these jokes, and I'm like, I really liked these jokes. I thought
Yeah.
they would land, and I'm like, I'm not getting a lot of laughs from the. It was all comedians though, so I'm
Yeah,
like, am I
yeah.
bombing? My first time, I'm bombing. I'm ready to retire. I'm just gonna phone it in, the rest of the time, and then after my set, I walked out to my car, and one of the comics had come up to me, and he's like, "Hey," and he mentioned a joke to me, and he's like, How long have you had that joke? Where'd you get that from?" Like, I just wrote it on the way here.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh my gosh, I love that joke," and that's like
Yeah.
super praise.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing to hear when a comic compliments.
Yeah. Yeah. And
What you do.
that's what I was actually gonna tell everybody about, was that when we talked about it in one of our earlier episodes, that I didn't even know that was your first time either until
Yeah.
until we were here recording it, because I thought you did one in California. But yeah, there are plenty of other comics that actually asked about him and gave him a lot of compliments on his set that night, because it was amazing. It was funny. It's like he knew the guy, never even,
Yeah.
he's met him maybe once, and he roasted him. Like, it was just awesome.
Yeah, and I don't take any praise ever. There's always something to improve on or whatever, but it was nice to hear those things that people said about me.
Yeah, well, just keep doing it. That's the only thing that I would say. But
Yeah, I
whatever,
think
man.
one time, I used to be a flight attendant. Breaking news, and it was for one of the big airlines. We won't give them a plug here because they don't deserve it. But
Not anymore.
yeah, there was. We're talking about knowing your audience, so
Right.
I think I'm funny. There was one time we were flying from, I want to say Miami to like Dallas or something,
Yeah.
and the plane. I don't know if you've ever been on a plane before.
Yeah.
You look like you haven't, but
Yep.
there's condensation that comes when it's humid outside, and it's like smoke that just is like a thin layer of smoke above the carry-on bins. And
I've never had condensation, bro.
You turn on the AC in the plane, and then there's condensation, so it's like a thin layer of smoke. It kind of looks like a fog machine.
Okay.
So
In the cabin of
and
the airplane?
it's just because you can see the AC coming on, and it's so
Okay.
humid outside, and it's just.
Are
so
you
can
sure?
see it.
Because the pilots are in the
I'm
cabin.
absolutely. Yeah, right. No, but they can't do that legally.
They can't drink either.
Legally. So this one old lady, and I know the drill. I mean, I've seen this a million times. It could be her first time flying though. She's banging that call button, and I'm
banging
busy. I'm
something.
closing bins. I'm tending to passengers. She just won't stop. So I finally walk over to her. I go, "Yes, ma'am. Is there something I could help you with?" And she's like, "There's smoke at the top of the plane. There's smoke. I don't know what it is." And I'm like, I could play this one of two ways. I can be cool and explain it to her. Of course, I think I'm funny though. So I look at it and I go, "Oh my god!" And I run all the way up to the cockpit. And I forget about her because I'm like helping everybody else
Yeah.
on the plane and closing bins and everything. And I can just only assume that either she died of a heart attack or never flew again after that, because she's like, "Oh, we're gonna die. That's it." She probably called everybody in her phone book. And yeah, so that's a good example of knowing your audience. Maybe
Yeah.
don't joke about plane failures
When you're on a
flight
plane.
attendant. Yeah, it's not a good crowd.
This week's weekly topic
Yep.
is going to be failure and how hard it is to get over.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a test that you take, your 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 first time trying something, or just continuously failing at most things in life,
Yeah.
which that's what I relate to. Um,
You don't have to tell me. I know.
we don't have the answer here, folks. The only thing that we can say here is just keep learning, man. Keep getting up and keep learning from it. Whenever you fall
Yeah.
down, you have to understand why you fell, and then keep doing it. That's the only thing that I would say.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the easiest way I learn is by failing, learning what I did wrong, correcting it, doing it right the next time. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to do it right the next time. I'm going to mess up 3 or 4 more times
right.
and then maybe start to do it right.
Yep.
I would tell somebody if they ask me for advice on failure that you just have to fail. You got to go through it and then correct yourself. I don't think it ever gets better though. I think there's always going to be something you fail in and you're always going to try to correct it, and all you can do is just learn from your past mistakes
Yeah.
and just kind of apply it to the situation. Every situation's different. It's just going to be something that's
That comes with time, I
yeah.
think. You know what I kind of think about failure is skateboarders.
I
In
agree.
order, you don't just get on a skateboard and you're amazing. A lot of skateboarders that I've talked to, it's not about being on those rolling wheels and jumping and flipping and landing. It's about knowing how to fall, because a lot of times that's what's happening is you're falling down, and it may land, it may not, but if you don't know how to fall, you have a less likely chance of making it.
Yeah.
There's some attempts that you make where it's just right at that edge that you just barely made it because you adjusted, and then boom, you land it. Or a lot of times you're just hitting the floor, you're hitting
Yeah.
pavement. So what's gonna, you're gonna stop doing that because it just hurts? No, so you have to learn how to fall, how to take that hit, how to get back up, and keep rolling.
I've failed numerous times in my life. Everybody has.
Still is.
Yeah. Over the past year especially. A lot of failure. There's no blueprint on how to deal with it. And what can you do? You can apologize. You can take steps in your life to correct those mistakes like I said earlier, and just learn from it. It's not good enough most of the time. One of my favorite quotes is from he was a mentor to me, my old English teacher, history teacher, basketball coach. He ended up becoming a firefighter. And anytime somebody would apologize in class, he'd always say, "Prove it." People would say sorry, he'd say, "Prove it." He would
Yeah.
never say it's okay. He would always say, "Prove it."
Right.
And that's one of my favorite quotes, and I'll live
That's
by that for the
good.
rest of my life.
Oh man.
So that's just, I mean, if you're sorry for anything, if you've messed up, prove it.
Prove it. Prove it. Don't do it again.
Yeah.
Or do better next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. There's so many attempts and fails in stand up. I mean, it just becomes part of the process.
Yeah.
So you have to learn how to get up there and tell your joke and it not land. But like we were talking about earlier, your audience could be part of the issue. So keep trying it. Doesn't mean that you have to take it out of your set. It just means try it at a different place.
Yeah.
Move it in a different position in your set.
All of this
Beginning,
to
at the end.
say,
Yeah,
failure is not your fault, it's everybody else's.
that's right. Exactly.
No, and it's, I mean, failing for the first time, that must be hard, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like, there's some people who are currently failing and they're just refusing to accept that failure,
Mm,
and they're going to keep going and pushing and saying, no, 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 I didn't fail. You all failed. I'm going to stay where I am
yeah.
and not leave.
Who exactly are we talking about here?
I'm
Exactly.
talking about, for the people who are watching this internationally, because we got that crowd,
Boom.
Donald Trump,
Oh,
our nation's
sniggity
president.
snaps.
It's the first time he's ever failed in his life, so I'm sure he's not used to it. And there's should be people who are like, okay, well, we're gonna help you get through
Oh,
this, and of
man.
course they're not. It
They
is.
are going crazy
Yeah,
right
no,
now,
the
right?
supporters are going.
You know what I
crazy.
think so funny is that these people who are like aggressively in people's faces, ready to fight, punching people, actually physically hurting people, to try to intimidate are the ones that are saying like, "Oh, well, let's stop talking about how we lost and let's all try to just get together and stuff." And it's funny when it's one way and then it's just flipped the other. Like all we can do is laugh. This is what I was talking about being Mexican American in this
Yep.
country. Like I just sit back and I just laugh at you guys.
That's all
I
you
just
can
laugh at
do.
everything that you guys do. Like, but that's part of failure too. If you failed, nobody's sitting here making fun of you. I mean, we might be a little bit.
Just a little bit, and then we're gonna get over it. I promise. But
Yeah.
you need to understand, people have support systems in place.
Yeah.
When you fail, other people aren't gonna enjoy seeing you fail. Some of them will, and get those people out of your life.
That's
But
right.
the people who you really need to stick with through the rest of your life are those who are going to be your support system and who are going to help you through the failure, not against the failure.
Right. And failure can be seen all over the place, in relationships, between two people. Uh, Kids, when they start getting into relationships for the first time.
Or if you're like the New York Jets, I mean, that's really a ship that has sailed. There's really no coming back.
I don't understand the Jets.
I don't either. No, they almost had that win against New England and just completely flaccoed it up.
I just.
I think I can speak. You're a Cowboys fan.
Yeah,
So
boy.
you knew.
And we're hurting.
You knew
Sorry.
now you are.
Now
but
we
you
are.
had,
We're doing all right.
You had the early 90s. You
Yeah.
had Tony Romo. Tony Romo, I mean, say what you want about him in the playoffs, but he was a good quarterback. You could watch Thanksgiving every year with Tony Romo on and be like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this is our Super Bowl.
I mean, he'd definitely give you a heart attack. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Now, me, I am a Vikings fan. Okay? Talk about failure.
Yeah.
Every year this team thinks of a new way to
True.
disappoint me.
I mean, with that wardrobe that they've got and
You know what?
everything,
Okay.
they should. That's first.
Purple is in.
Man, horns.
Yeah. You tell me you're not horned? You're not horned up?
Do you guys say, "Get horned up"?
We don't say
Get
that.
horny.
We don't say that.
No, and then
No.
people just start shaking.
We don't have a little star in the middle of our. Sorry, one star. What is that for? How many wins you have this year?
Just for the fame, baby.
Sorry. Anyways.
Concentrated
Yeah.
in that one star. Yeah, no, man. So failure, like in relationships,
Yeah.
like if kids barely get into a relationship, like they don't really know how to end it. Like if they're afraid of it failing,
Yeah.
so they're afraid of like ending it. Like they're afraid of hurting each other. They're really concerned about like what others think. Because kids are they try way too hard for other people, but not for themselves. And I'm not saying to be selfish. Don't be selfish. I'm just saying there's a careful balance. Just admitting when some things don't work and just being responsible and saying, "Hey, we tried.
Yeah.
It failed." And we can both move on.
I think we live in
respectfully.
a time now, especially where, with the rise of social media, everybody has their own platform.
Mm,
The focus is not on, here's how I'm going to make myself better. It's on, how does everybody else think of me?
right.
And I think failure is still such it's a topic that's never really talked about seriously, talked about with the um,
It's like the intent of making it better, I
Yeah.
guess.
it's about, like I said, it's about we care more about what other people think of us than we do about ourselves.
Right.
We care when we fail. We want to do it the right way. We want to make it look pretty. We don't want to go through that public hurt.
Right. Dude, and that's a big thing with kids now too, that
Yeah.
public hurt. Kids are taking things to a new level now. They're not taking failure well. They're not taking hard news well right now. Kids are out there committing suicide or public shootings. Like, just it needs to be talked about, it needs to be understood, and it just needs to be known that it's part of life. You're always going to fail. It's
Yeah.
about how you get back up and keep going, man.
I think that speaks especially more to I had mentioned earlier, that support system that you have in place. There's some of these failures I went through personally. I don't know if I would have made it without my support system that I had.
Yeah.
And that's just super important. You really learn who your real friends are who the real people in your life are once you go through something of a failure. And it's just, I'm so thankful for these people.
Yeah, because they lead you. That type of support system leads the type of person to rise above
Yeah.
failure, like this 11-year-old hacker who hacked into the voting system. You hear about that in
No.
Florida? I think it was the last election. Like after the election happened, like this kid hacked it just to see if he could, and yeah, they proved that you could. Or like the inventor of like that fuck doll. You know what I mean? Like that's an amazing invention. Something you can just like fuck, you know?
He had to have been. He had
You
to
have
have
to
failed
pay
a
it.
couple times.
Imagine the fail.
Yeah.
Oh, who tested that?
That's what I want to know. How did that happen?
Bobbit?
Was he like a necrophiliac? And he's like, yeah, I gotta market this.
Lorraine Bobbitt's husband checked it out. He's like, yeah, try this.
Ugh.
I'm just saying, have goals, people. All right,
Yeah.
don't give up.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, gather up, gather round, gather in front of the sets because it's time for our Jiggity Joke session.
Yeah.
This is where we write jokes for each other to tell.
That's right.
One-liner jokes. You don't read ahead. That's the cardinal rule.
Nope.
You just read it, you tell it, you wait for the laugh, and maybe you
that's
get a
it.
reaction out of them. Yeah.
Yep.
It's our favorite part.
And sorry about my reading.
Yeah.
It's getting better. All right. Who's first? I think I went first the last
You did,
time.
so I will go first this time.
You go first.
Ready?
We are ready.
All right. Aggressive urination makes a mess for everyone. And that's very
It is
true.
very
The
true.
janitor and yourself, your pants.
Your mom.
What?
Face.
Yeah.
All right, my turn. Ready?
Yeah.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah.
You know what?
What's that?
I really suck at giving head.
Okay.
Huh?
All right, a little too much information here.
Yeah.
Jiggity joke session. Don?
Yeah?
Yeah, we would see a decrease in speeding tickets if, instead of a speeding ticket, we paid the cops in gratuity.
Wow.
That's very true.
we
I wonder
would.
how much they would get away with. We can cut the salaries, defund the whatever. I'm not saying that. That'll get me in trouble. But
They'd probably get less in an urban community.
okay, there it is. I knew it was coming.
Sorry.
I knew it was coming.
All right, my turn. One time after Thanksgiving, my dad went out to get a Christmas tree and didn't come back until St. Patrick's Day. You're all I'm thankful for, Alex.
What? Well, I knew what the joke was, but then you added that second part, and that's very, very gracious of you, Don. I appreciate that.
Anytime,
Thank you.
man.
I'm thankful for you too.
Yeah.
Very nice. But you know what?
Yeah.
The stupid thing about court is that we're required to address the judge with honor and respect.
Yeah.
But catch me on the freeway and it's open season, motherfucker.
Yeah. That's true.
I don't like to cuss. Jeez.
Mother effer, mother lover. That's how they do like on those edits when you see like Pulp
Yeah,
Fiction, but like
right.
on
Edits.
national television.
TV, mother lover.
Mother lover.
Yeah.
I love that one. I never understood why people go crazy on Black Friday for Christmas shopping.
Okay.
They could just go to they could just take a page out of my book and not get their kids anything.
You know what? Your poor family. You know.
We are poor. They get Sticks and Mr. Rock.
That's it.
Yeah,
Every
and Mr.
Oh, those poor
Stick
kids.
Rock.
Somebody.
Man,
Child Protective Services, please do your job.
get out of here.
My liver has more osis than cirrhosis.
It's because you drink a lot.
I don't drink.
Jeez.
I don't
No.
drink. I learned how to smoke enough to where it evens out.
That's gross. Congratulations to Barry Manilow,
Okay.
who finally, after 74 years, came out of the closet
Wow.
as a gay man.
Okay.
In a move that really fucking surprised Helen Keller.
Jeez. You build it up with the congratulations. You know, you make me feel, yeah, oh, okay, oh, he's tolerant. That's nice. And then you just You let them have it every time.
That's right.
Well, after this year's election, we should expect to see the introduction of a fantasy politics league,
Yeah.
that's beyond truthful. I
I'm
mean,
picking up Arizona.
why? Because they just legalized pot?
Yeah. Yeah, because I heard that on the TV. Arizona picks up.
There. Okay. All
So
right.
I think that's we should start that website.
Yeah. No.
Hey Alex.
Yeah.
You know what my favorite part about hooking up is?
What's that, buddy?
Waiting for his wife to get home.
Okay. See, there we go. You're tolerant at first, and then you just completely.
Why are you
turn
always
around.
talking about
It's
this?
always the homophobes that are,
Hmm.
getting a little. Well, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, right.
Maybe we need to take you to the OP, man.
That's those are your jokes.
Definitely not.
Wow. Okay.
Good diggity joke
So
session.
revealing about yourself there, but yeah, that was a good session.
We just want to say thank you for being here and watching. If you want to get in contact with us, you can do it by email at thedumbpodcast@gmail.com.
Or give us a call at 602-935-7307. Voicemail, it's about 3 minutes long. Don't go over that. We're here to roast, not therapize. And then do we have that OnlyFans account set up yet?
We will shortly.
We will shortly. Okay, so stay tuned for that.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have fun in life, folks.
Yeah, stay happy, stay healthy, build up your support system, love them, appreciate them, and don't forget to try everything twice.
Peace.